After getting sent the AK-147, I thought to myself, well, there is just no way this actually works. After just 5 minutes of giving it a try, I was shocked to discover it could play the most basic shots, which is really good, even if it will never be able to cope with something more challenging like a long pot. Well, okay, but there's no way you could ever play a shot with side or swerve the cue ball. Oh, does that mean it can screw the cue ball back as well? That's a definite yes. What about the break-off shot though? Can it do that? Very nearly. It just doesn't quite hit the ball hard enough. But it does mean we can answer that age-old question. Can you play snooker with a gun? Before you get the wrong idea, this isn't a gun-shaped cue. It actually has a trigger. You can see it right there. And if you pull it, the cue shaft moves in that direction. The build quality is a lot better than I was expecting. That is plastic, but it's some pretty thick plastic. And that's actually metal, and so is that. The whole thing feels a lot more rigid than you'd expect. And that's why arming it actually feels quite solid, even though that's just a spring mechanism in there, and the trigger just releases the spring like a cheap child's toy. But because of the build quality, it's relatively powerful, and it feels a bit different because I just need to pull the trigger here. I don't need to move anything, and if I've got everything lined up right, I'll pop the ball. As opposed to a regular cue where you have to pull it back and strike the ball at the correct power. And power is a major problem for this thing. Let me show you. That's a firm hit with a cue. I can hit it harder, but it's probably going to do 5 times the length of the table. It had already done 4 then when I stopped it. Watch what happens when I use the gun. Okay, it's hit the top cushion, it's come back, and it's got to the bulk line. So it's only really done a little bit more than 2. And you have to play each shot with this amount of power. There's no way whatsoever of modulating it. Or is there? Because I've been experimenting with how close you need to get the tip of the cue to the cue ball before you pull the trigger. If the tip's too close to the cue ball, then the cue doesn't have time to accelerate, and not only that, it's not very accurate. Because of this, I've learned if you leave a ball width gap between the tip of the cue and the cue ball, you're giving the cue maximum time to accelerate while still allowing it to follow through, which gives the best possible efficiency in the shot. So, in theory, if we leave the perfect gap between the tip and the cue ball so the tip only just makes it to the cue ball, then we should be able to play the shot softer. Okay, that may need a few more tries.
Some time later.
And after having tried to get this right for quite a while now, I feel it's practically impossible. So no, there's nothing we can do. We're going to be hitting every single shot exactly that hard. Other than that, I think this thing's just as good as a regular snooker cue. After just a few goes with it, as you can see, I'm able to line up the shots pretty accurately. And I'm even managing to play position with it. I mean, look at that. I'm up on the blue there. And if you've never played snooker before, the thing you'll probably find the hardest is pulling the cue back and delivering it. Whereas with this, you've just got to point it in the right direction and effectively pull the trigger. It's as easy as that. Meaning a complete novice would probably find this harder to use than this. But for those of us who have played the game before, this is going to feel a little bit tricky. But I guess the main question is, are you allowed to use this in a game of snooker? Well, I'm not sure what the rules are regarding a mechanical snooker cue, but I do know all snooker cues have to be at least 3 feet in length, which this definitely isn't. And I think we all know what will happen if you try to use it in a game.
I think they will ban it.
And rightly so in my opinion, because this is just a silly toy I saw on the internet and thought I want one of those. And it felt like the sort of thing that this channel should be reviewing. Not that this is easy to get hold of, it's not available in shops, so I had to consult 3 separate people before finally getting this imported all the way from Hong Kong. But if you also look at this and think I could do with one of those as well, let me know in the comments because there's a chance I can get more of these. But as these breach the rules of the game, it turns out we've been defeated and you're not allowed to play snooker with a gun. But the question wasn't, are you allowed to play snooker with a gun? The question was, can you? And I'm sorry, because I accepted defeat way too early, because with the AK-147, you definitely can. As we've seen, in terms of playing the basic shots, this definitely ticks all the boxes. This is a little bit weird, having to get it out of the way to play shots, and it does move into that position like that, so you can get lower to the table, but you're still striking down at it significantly, so it's just easier to play the shots sideways like this, which does initially feel a little bit strange, but quickly just becomes like playing a shot with a rest. Actually, can you play a shot with a rest with this thing? But before we find out about that, we're just going to find Sap in Fargo, North Dakota, which is there. Well, there's only one way to find out. This definitely allows me to reach a lot further. I couldn't put my hand where the rest is, so this is a bit better. Yeah, and I can play the shot with the rest. The only thing is I can only actually reach 5 foot with it, so most shots on the table I wouldn't be able to reach with the gun. Well, it turns out I can actually reach just over 6 feet, but there's still nothing I can do about any further than that. Something else I noticed when I first started using it is the majority of the shots you play go to the left. I think this is because I'm right-handed, and if I was left-handed, all the shots would then go to the right. It's just the way you lie the cue down, and it does take a little bit of getting used to, but at least this is fixable. Because you do quickly get used to it, and after just a short space of time, it becomes easier to line up the shots accurately. And after you've played one shot, it doesn't really take any time at all to get to the next one. You can aim anywhere you want on the cue ball without any trouble, which allows you to play all the basic positional shots, which I've been really impressed with because I didn't think that was going to be possible. Because of all of that, this is a lot better than I was expecting. So in answer to the question, can you play snooker with a gun, or specifically this gun, the answer is yes, just about. Although, should you play snooker with a gun? No, I cannot think of anything more pointless than using an overpriced Nerf toy to hit the balls around the table. Although it looks cool, right? Right? Having said that, I took it down the club and everyone was desperate to have a go with it, with differing levels of success. So if you are interested in buying one, let me know and I'll see if I can get hold of a few more. And I know what you're thinking, instead of wasting money on this, why didn't we just get the table reclothed? Just like that. Well, because we can do both, obviously. More on this to come, but in the meantime, if you want to see more videos like this, have a look at these two. And remember, don't just watch, play, and make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel and visit the website. See you later.